This is Unpivot, the show for Excel and Power BI fans and anyone who loves chatting about data. I'm Wyn Hopkins.
I'm Mark Proctor.
I'm Charles Mail.
I'm Sue Bays.
Hello, everybody. Hello, listeners. Hello, folks. How are we? Everybody good?
Good.
Oh, we're well.
Very good. Thank you.
We're here, but we're not all at home, are we?
We're not all at home.
We're not all at home.
One of these kids is doing his own thing.
Unless you just consider planet Earth to be your home, in which case I am home.
The Zen master speaks.
That's horrible.
Explain, Giles, what's happening?
I'm in a field in Bruges, just doing a lot of work. So that's been fun. I've started my Excel on the Road tour with Faye, who's hiding in the background somewhere. And yeah, so first stop Bruges, picked up the motorhome on Friday or Saturday last week, one of the two, and drove over on a ferry and then over to Belgium, and we are in a campsite in Bruges with Starlink active, which is why I'm here with you today, which has been a bit hit and miss at times, but at the moment connection seems good.
What's the going rate for Starlink?
We pay about £100 a month for a roaming plan, so in theory we can use as much data as we want. Certainly across Europe, I think you'd be pretty covered. So it seems fine, unless there's a big cloud or a large pigeon in the way of the satellite, and then every now and then it drops off.
So we may lose you at some point.
You might lose me. I'll try and come back.
Good.
So why Bruges? Yeah, why Bruges?
It's just as we've asked ourselves this question many times, Sue, over the last 3 days. We've hardly left the motorhome. We've just been working. We could have been sat at home with very strong internet, but we're sat in a field in a motorhome with less reliable internet. We're en route to Amsterdam. So the London Excel meetup group, which is led by Alan Murray and Taya, is doing their almost annual, I think, trip abroad. So Sue, because we've been to one of them before.
Yeah, we went to Munich, didn't we? I really wanted to go because Melissa de Court's presenting.
She is.
But I've had to be sensible.
Yeah, so we are en route. We will be in Amsterdam in a couple of days, and then we will meet up with Alan and everyone, and we will obviously attend Melissa de Court's talk, which will be awesome on Power Query, and then we'll head back to the UK. So yeah, it's all fun.
Very good. And how's the
driving?
Do you return
your?
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, do you return the motorhome at that point, or do you retain the motorhome and go around the UK? What's happening?
We will return it. It's very expensive to rent a motorhome in peak season, so I don't know. We might still get one, or we might just try and mix it up a little bit. But we will certainly still, whatever happens, be on the road across the UK. That part's definitely happening. Really, if you look at the numbers, you should probably just buy a motorhome, because otherwise you just spend so much money on leasing the thing. But we'll figure that out as we go. Good. And
no near misses or dodgy driving currently?
Oh, so loads. I mean, it's all been me. So I've been the driver just for this trip because it's quite expensive again to add a second driver. And it took me, that first drive was stressful. The width, the length of it. I went down a wrong turning at one point, so then I had to within 10 minutes I had to reverse. Not fun, but I think I'm okay with it now. But have any of you three driven motorhomes before?
No.
Yeah.
Wyn's nodding. Yeah, it's not fun.
Nah.
You've also got the Europe issue to deal with as well. The fact you're driving on the other side of the road, right? So you've got double whammy. Yes.
I do have childhood memories of my dad towing a caravan at the time. I was probably only about 8 or 9, and him turning the wrong way down the French motorway. So we were going into oncoming traffic with all lights flashing towards us and stuff, and just him swerving off the road onto the hard shoulder and then trying to do a 3-point turn in a caravan on a French motorway, which is good.
Wow.
And you remember this because it was your first near-death experience, is that right?
It was an interesting one. He also drove us around Grimsel Pass, which is, I want to say Switzerland or Germany, can't remember which one, up through the mountains with sheer drops down the side. This would have been like early 80s.
Wow.
Absolutely terrifying with a caravan, going up steep hills with a old Renault 19 or something that's not designed to tow something of that weight. So yeah, scary times, but kept my childhood interesting. That's probably why I'm not a risk taker anymore. Too calm now. So there we are. Right, what else is news? Come on, folks. What else is happening? Sue, Mark, you've been out and about?
I'll share a little painful story, a painful lesson.
I've got one of those as well.
A few weeks ago, we went to the O2 because my kids got a Christmas present to see Strictly Come Dancing live.
Okay.
Not my kind of thing, but equally, it was at the O2. We decided that parking at the O2 is pretty cheap, actually. So let's drive to the O2. So we drove to the O2. On the way back from the O2, I said to my wife, we need to make sure we pay the ultra low emission zone charge. We can't forget. Do not forget. We said, no, as soon as we get home, we'll pay the ultra low emission zone charge. So we got there, we get home, it's late. It's like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. And then we didn't do it tomorrow. And we didn't do it the next day. We didn't do it the next day. So we got to Thursday and I went, oh, you know what I didn't pay? I didn't pay the ultra low emission zone charge. Went on to pay, it says, no, you can't pay anymore. So therefore, I got a £90 PCN notice for not paying the ultra low emission zone charge. What I forgot, what I didn't also mention to you, is that there's also a charge for going through the Blackwall Tunnel. There's a charge both ways. And we go through that to get to the O2. And because we didn't pay the ultra low emission zone charge, we didn't pay that either. So we got 3 fines on one trip just because I forgot.
How much was that in total? What were the others?
£270.
Oh, that's a nasty trip.
Because it's so easy to get to the O2 and the parking's quite reasonable, isn't it?
Oh,
ouch.
So how are you meant to know you're meant to pay that tunnel?
Well, I mean, so on the Blackwall Tunnel, it does, as you go through, there's a thing that says charges apply, pay online. Now, where you're meant to pay, it just says pay online. On a separate story, we've been stung with that kind of thing before, where so we went to Birmingham a while back. They've also got an ultra low emission zone charge. As we were driving through Birmingham, it was like, let's pay it now. My wife, she was in the passenger seat, went on to Googled it, first link, paid it, and it turned out that the first link was to a scam site that looked like the ultra low emission zone charge, but it wasn't. So we paid somebody else some money. And we the ultra low emission zone charge. Anyway, so for the Blackwall Tunnel, there are things up that say charges apply. For the ultra low emission zone, someone took the Transport for London to court because it doesn't say anywhere that it's actually a charge. It just says ULEZ, and you have to, or ultra low emission zone, and you have to know that means that therefore there is a charge to pay. So someone did take them to court and won. I think they've closed the loophole and various other things now.
One thing, if you don't know, there is a direct debit option, because I got hit with that a few times years ago. So mine is just on a rolling direct debit now, and it just pays it.
Just really burns that, doesn't it? That sort of wasted money on those sorts of things. It just gnaw away at you for a good couple of years. That will.
But those 2 minutes we were in the Blackwall Tunnel, and you think per hour. I mean, that's one of the most expensive things I've ever had to buy. Painful.
Any painful stories, Sue? Any horrific financial losses?
I have got one.
Good.
Should I share it or not? It's ongoing.
Is it rude?
Oh, it's ongoing. Well, maybe save it.
Not rude. it's I'm having lots of help from ChatGPT on how to recover money from a business that doesn't like to pay invoices.
Oh no!
Even though they have been paid by the company I did the work for.
Oof,
nasty.
Not good.
So ChatGPT is very good. I put my email in that I want to send, and I say, I'm going to send this. What do you think? And it goes, I'm glad you spoke to me first, Sue.
How wise of you.
Let's take the emotion out of this and make it objective. And it comes back with, So yeah, so it's quite a bit more than your £270, Mark.
I don't know if anyone else. I've had that once, long time ago, before Full Stack, when we did a lot of consulting. It really annoyed me. It was this very experienced investor, and I built a valuations model for him for a bid that he was essentially trying to win. And then at the end, he said, "Oh, but we didn't win the bid, so I'm not paying you." It's like, no, that's not how this works. No, that wasn't part of our agreement. So that's the only time we've ever been burnt by that.
Yeah, same 7 years of business, and it's the first time I've had to. The really annoying thing is the company I did the work for have paid them. They paid them.
That's bad. Yeah. So what's their reason? What, have they given you a reason?
They said that they're having to chase other people to pay them, so they're not paying me.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's quite. I mean, it's. I've had to understand the court process, so I'm going through the whole legal process. But that's quite painful. But it's really annoying because you think, well, I've done the work. The company are really, really happy. They've told you they're really, really happy. They've paid you. You pay me. He's like, don't want to. What do you mean you don't want to? And this is when ChatGPT goes, tra-la-la, do this. But what's really, I mean, it's all happening. It's all, it's all being taken care of. But what's really interesting is that ChatGPT, yes, is giving sort of constructive, objective business advice, but it's also really helpful in, I always ask it to give me 4 things to riff off, so I've asked you this, give me 4 things that could be of interest based on what I've asked you. And one of them was, how are you feeling about this? And so it really went through you need to, separate this from, it's not, separate this is you're allowed to protect your business, it's about this and this. And then it's like, right, try doing some breathing exercises and reflect on. And so it wasn't just the actual purposeful part of do this process wise, but it also then went into the okay, how does this the feeling side and how to handle it in your head so that you don't get angry about it or anything, which I find really interesting.
Did that actually help? Because in my mind, if something said to me, based on probability, you're probably feeling a bit annoyed about this now, therefore you should do these things, I'd be like, I'm not listening to you. You don't actually know anything. Like, it's just
but it does in a way, because what it will do is it'll scour the internet and just say, people's, I'm sure there must be lots of people who've said what it makes them feel like for having to do that. So it was really, I was surprised, but it was quite helpful. Yeah.
Good.
Very good.
How about you? Any news?
I've got a few rants. The thing that got me this week was the camera on my laptop. I got a new laptop about 6 months ago,
which you're happy with.
Which I'm happy with. It's lovely. And I don't know. I thought about 5 months ago the camera stopped working, which is a bit annoying because it doesn't do face login, so you have to type in your PIN number every time. Yeah. And also, I just the other day I went to do a Teams meeting. I didn't have any other camera on me, and I remembered that the camera doesn't work. So about every 2 months, I get annoyed enough to actually start looking into it and trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And I get nowhere. It says, oh, you know, there's sort of check the drivers, update the drivers, do this, check there's no cover on it. Is there a button on your keyboard? All this sort of stuff. ChatGPT, Claude, all those sort of things. And again, it came up again. I got annoyed by it yesterday or 2 days ago. I thought, right, let's have another go at this. Went into my BIOS on startup and checked all that stuff. And then I did another search. I think it might have been on Claude this time. And it gave some links. And I went to a Reddit post where somebody had said, oh, I've got this Lenovo Yoga Aura. I think it is Aura. And the camera's not working. And somebody said, oh, there's a button on the side. And they went, oh, brilliant, solution solved. And I went, oh, there's not a button on the side of mine. And I looked, and there's a button on the side of mine. So right next to the enter key on the side of the computer, there's a little red toggle, just like on the edge of your iPhone sort of thing. And it was set to red. And I thought, that's probably it, isn't it? And then I finished it on, it's working lovely. So.
I've got a Lenovo laptop. I've got a little switch on the side of mine that does my camera as well.
There you go.
Did you know that existed?
I knew it existed because I looked on the you know when you get the instruction manual that you ignore when it first arrives.
We don't even get that anymore. It comes sort of like you're meant to download it or something these days.
Yeah.
You still get one bit of paper at least, I think. At least I did. One bit of paper that showed me what all the buttons did. And so there was this camera shut-off button on the side, which I played with a few times and then I've never touched it again.
Yeah.
So similar-ish, but so I was playing with Icon Map Pro with which is like an amazing visual for Power BI. And I'm very fortunate that Anthony Catello, who works for Icon Map Pro, is one of my friends. So I was showing him something I was working on. And he said, well, you just need to download this ONS postcode data. It's big though, it's 2 gig. And I went, I said, I haven't got much space on my machine. And because I've been, it's been coming up with, I've got 475 gig on my C drive, and it's been coming up with warnings. And I was like, wow, I've gone through everything, gone through storage, downloads, temps, everything. And it just, well, why is it that? And I said, I don't know. And then it suggested I download this software called Tree, which scans through. Do you know what it was? Camtasia. So the default settings, I get rid of all of I don't keep recordings from Camtasia on my C drive because they're just so hungry. So I'd always delete them. And I said, well, I delete them all. But there was a button in Camtasia when you open it up for default settings where it stores them in the program files under something. And every single one, even though I hadn't saved any of them, were saved. So we got rid of it and I cleared about 150 gig off my...
This is Tree. So I'm going to look at this.
Tree Ref Analyzer.
Yeah, that's it. Tree Ref Analyzer. But I'd looked, I'd gone in my storage system, I'd looked in my program files, I'd looked in my documents, I looked in emails, I looked in apps, it didn't show it anywhere. But there is a default setting in Camtasia where it stores it to the program. And not even the program files that you see, it's hidden. So I have to find it, turn it off.
I think it creates, was it proxy videos, which is it's a lower quality version of your video to speed up editing, but it's stored in the background. And so on a previous laptop, it was all solid state. It only had 250 gig, and I kept deleting stuff, but the amount of space I got smaller and smaller and smaller. Until it's like, I've only got 3 files on this thing, and I've only got 100 meg. What's going on? So I then had to find it, and then a bit like you said, I deleted like 200 gigs in one go, just because I had. You don't know, but it's eating stuff every time you record something.
Yeah, it was absolutely that, proxy files. Because like you, I thought, right, everything is up in the cloud. The only things I have on my local machine are current companies. So I'm really good with that. And I was like, why is it getting, proxy, Camtasia over 200 gig?
Definitely feels like we should share that link with everyone. Sounds very useful.
Okay, I'll find it and pop it in. Yeah. So that was my pain, which I solved. Gig-wise, memory-wise.
Good tip. Yeah. We're giving away so many life hacks here.
Yeah,
I love it.
Panel keys, all sorts. Just camera switches. Yeah.
Yes.
Although you mentioned about Copilot, which triggered something. I was playing yesterday. I was asking Copilot 365 to generate an image for me, and then I said, "Do it in what did I say? Something like, do it in this particular style." I wanted some Aboriginal style art or something like this in the background, and then it went off and basically searched my entire SharePoint site, I think, for any style guides that I had anywhere. I didn't ask it to. And then it sort of came back with some style guide from a client from a few years ago and just implemented that. It said, right, we're going to use this style guide. I'm like, okay, so this is what Copilot's doing now. It's just got access to everything, and it's just going to go off and make up its own mind about from your own stuff, which thing is, and it doesn't even ask me, it just started doing it.
Yeah.
So
it's rubbish, isn't it?
There was a button in Teams, or there was a setting, I think in, a few months back, where Outlook decided that it would be very helpful and add files that it thought could be relevant to the meeting to the email for you.
Oh, I remember you saying
wow.
Yeah. So what it did is it put in a contract from one of my other companies to a new one. It said, you might want to include this. No.
That's so bad. Yeah. You see also the news, a random news story, but an important one probably on AI, the big story about OpenAI making this deal with the Pentagon and Anthropic not. Yeah. And there are rumors or reports that OpenAI subscriptions have tanked and Anthropic subscriptions have gone through the roof. I don't know how true those stats are. Yeah. It's quite interesting.
I think Anthropic service went down for a while because they had so many new inquiries or whatever, new sign-ups.
Oh, is that why it was? I think we felt that a few days ago, if it was recently. Is that the first time Claude had been a bit unreliable, ironically, because there's so much demand.
Tell you what I tried yesterday, Claude Code. I'd heard people chatting about it, talking about, I think Giles had mentioned it, Sue mentioned it. So I thought, right, this isn't my bag, but let's have a play, see what I can do. And good God, I built myself a 20-question web page survey for Excel that printed off a certificate with 4 prompts.
Wow.
It's just stored in a 40 kilobyte HTML file.
Nice.
It's just insane, right? And I don't even know what I'm doing.
Good. It's just good, isn't it?
And then I put all that into Claude, just desktop that I use, and said, can you evaluate this? And what should I be aware of in order to, make this secure, blah, blah, blah. And how could I implement it? It says, oh, well, you could do this, this, and this. Actually, would you like to capture everybody's responses if they filled it in? I went, sure. And he said, okay, given in the past you discussed Power Automate and Fabric, how would you like a solution that could send it to a SharePoint list that Power BI could then access? And it gave me, I haven't actually implemented it yet, but it gave me a full step-by-step guide about how to take this HTML file that's produced, upload it, set it up on my web page, have some sort of Power Automate HTTP link that would fire off to trigger Power Automate. It's just like, all right, this is just serious now, isn't it? Just serious.
It's definitely shifted. I can't remember which, because I've talked about this with Paul and Ian recently, but it's shifted, and it feels like it's really shifted with Anthropic. I don't know if I said this last time, but I pay like 75 quid a month now to Claude Anthropic, and it's worth every penny, absolutely every penny.
Yeah. But so Sue, you've been playing with it, Sue, as well.
Yeah, we had Laura Graham-Brown on the user group on Tuesday, and she showed how to create, and I know you've done this before, Giles, because you showed me how to use, and it was using Claude, Copilot using Claude to just create the dummy data sets. Really nice, simple, quick dummy data sets that were then stored and branched to GitHub. So it created in Visual Studio, branched to GitHub, so that when she does her training courses, people can then access it through GitHub. And that was nice. That was really nice. And the lovely thing was it was all live, and so we were, it was a very interactive thing, so we could sort of. So it's getting more and more, as you said, more and more. It feels to me like it's more and more doable without having to be too highly techy to do it.
Yeah,
exactly. So is that on the Devon and Cornwall YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's a few on there, but that one, and the other thing I'm playing with Matthias is Claude, Visual Studio Code and GitHub, which is really interesting. So for the first time, I actually understand what the purpose of branching is. They have all these, you branch from GitHub and you're like, what are these branches? I don't understand. I don't get it. But he explained it and said, when people create issues, so you have your main, which is where you store your main file, or Power BI, it can't be a binary, it has to be sort of Power BI project. And you store that in main, and then you have branches that come off it, and the branches are to resolve issues. So you can align them with an issue, and then you can, so the branches get closed when the issue gets closed. So I hadn't thought that. I thought the branches just come off and they go off randomly, but they're actually to deal with a thing. So if, I want this report to add in a customer table, then that would be your branch. And when you add in the customer table, you close down that issue, which closes the branch. That was really interesting. Hopefully I've explained it enough. But it just, for me, I need to understand almost the purpose in normal talk before it goes into computing talk.
Yeah. I think cool. Sort of, for me, like GitHub is one of those things that, again, it's a bit of a mystery, but is more relevant to people who are working in teams of people as well.
Yes.
More relevant, not
more, but yeah. So I think absolutely you're right. If you're for a big team, it's brilliant because you can see who's doing what and the bits they're working on a big project. But also as a sole developer, it's source control. So you're able to then track the different changes that you've made, which then we're going to be moving into the whole AI bit where you can get AI to sort of almost summarize it for you and to help you do it. And so it's really interesting time. I was quite dubious maybe 12 months or so ago, and a bit apprehensive, whereas now it feels a bit more exciting.
It's just interesting to think where we all and everyone else fits in, isn't it? I think training wise, it's a really interesting potential roadmap of, I'm trying to enhance what I do as a trainer using AI. I just don't know what the training landscape is going to look like in 5 years' time. Yeah. We'll see.
Well, this is it. She said, right, I'm going to be running a Power Query course. It needs to involve basic things. So, I need a data set that will allow me to show basic Power Query functions. So it not only then built this data set with spaces in the middle so you could trim and split columns and stuff. And then it did a summary in the README document to tell her how, to suggest how she lay out her training course. I was like, oh. So it's interesting what you said, Giles. Things are evolving and changing. But then as we've said before, how many businesses that use Excel still don't use Power Query?
Oh, so many. And I don't know if you're seeing this, but what we are definitely seeing more of is people now just think AI is the solve. So I think there's definitely a huge space for all of us and others where people have this vision of, you just use AI. And a little bit like it was with Power BI and other things beforehand, they need experts to come in and go, hang on a minute. You can't just throw AI at this, that you need to do the fundamentals and your data needs to be good and all of that stuff first. So we'll see.
Yeah, it was
because after our discussion, was it last time or the time before, I thought, I'm just, because I pretty much everyone's going to end up with Copilot to some degree because it's already baked in. So like, I'm going to double down on Copilot. I'll get rid of my ChatGPT subscription, and I'm going to double down. And I think within like something simple, like all I wanted to do is I had a transcript from a YouTube video, and all I wanted to do was get suggested timestamps about what I might want to use. You put that into ChatGPT, and it goes, here you go, here's some timestamps. You're into Copilot, I can't read that file format. Like, it's text. It's literally just text. Copy and paste the text out, and then paste it back into the Copilot window. Like, it is a text file. Don't tell me you can't read simple text. No, I can't handle that. So in my moments of I'm going to double down on Copilot because that's what everyone's going to have. At least then I'll be able to talk the language that everyone else, I'll be able to understand the experiences that everyone else has. Yeah, it's frustration. That's what it is because we can't handle that. Just like Wynne said, I can't even remember quite what it was. I wanted it to. I had like you can create an agent and you can upload knowledge as to the things you want it to do. So I uploaded. I had this agent. I can't remember what it was for. That had. So I put the knowledge in, and I ran it the first time, and just like Wynne said, it went off to SharePoint. Found a whole load of stuff that wasn't related to what I wanted, and then used that in the reply. And I'm like, just use the knowledge. Just use the stuff I gave you. Why are you searching elsewhere? That's it. On Copilot, not like it gives you all of these, do you want to find out your latest, get updates about your latest email from this, find out what your day's going to look like. It's like, I don't want any of those things. Like, I know what my last conversation with somebody was. I was there. Like, I don't. There was somebody on somebody on LinkedIn made a really good point about how their point was primarily around financial modeling, about how people are getting excited about AI, but actually we're getting excited about AI when there's already tools and other ways that do it better than AI. It's like, hey, we can create a financial model from scratch. Yeah, you know what's better than creating a financial model from scratch? Having a template that you already built that does exactly what you want, and then you just copy and paste. Like, literally, Control V, Control C, Control V takes 2 seconds. That's faster than Copilot. And his point was that we keep trying to make it do things that we can already do really well. Why aren't we focused on things that actually improve something, that do something different? And I thought that was quite interesting because equally you get things where so Brian Jones, who works for the Excel team, had this. He posted about agent mode, about how you could effectively you can have an Excel worksheet that contains additional context for your agent. So you can say, I want my, these are the color codes I use. This is how I want this. These are the chart styles I like. So you have a sheet on the front, and when you run your agent mode, you tell it to use your sheet as kind of your knowledge base, and then that's what it uses. And I thought, this is fantastic. This is brilliant. You can, you get like a sheet template, you drag it in, agent mode can do this. I can create charts. Just ask it to create charts in, create this chart. Oh, it's already in my style. And then I thought, you know what? We have chart templates already. You build a chart template, you save it as a template. I don't need to have to recreate these styles every time. We already have templates for this, but yet we're trying to like replicate things that we can already do quite well, rather than trying to push it to do new things that we couldn't do before. And I thought that was an interesting perspective, because at the minute, everyone is trying to do, the things I can do now, I want it to do those things rather than I want it to do something that we couldn't do before.
This is why Laura's session was really good, because demo data for specific things can be a real pain when you're trying to, I've spent hours searching for really interesting data sets that you can use for, certain training sessions or to answer questions. So that was something that would save time. And one of the people in the chat said that actually there's some people who are consultants, looking for work, they'll find out from the client what particular software they're using for their data collection, and then build a dummy data set based on those files or templates or metadata within the software system. So if it's coming from Sage, these are, build me some dummy data in the way that Sage performs for this, and this, or for Dynamics, or for whatever your software is, and that's something that again you can then reuse, which and it's something that I think it's like you say, it's okay, but there are some things that we do really well, so don't do those things. Do the things that take the time, that that will save time and be more effective, like your little thing you've got in ChatGPT, Win, for the transcripts from
converting the transcripts for
convert the transcripts into
give me timestamps and stuff.
So I do that every time. It takes about 2 minutes. It'll go through my transcript I've downloaded. It gives me a title, a description, the timestamps, and the tags. So it's something that would take forever, and it takes 2 minutes.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it otherwise, would you? You just can't be bothered.
No. Yeah.
You can't do it in Copilot. Just saying.
I tried Copilot. So then there was a blog post, what's new in Excel, February 2026. So apparently you can now use Copilot in offline Excel files. Don't know if folks realize, but up till now you have to have if you want to use Copilot in Excel, you have to have your file saved in OneDrive or SharePoint and auto save turned on. Okay, now we can do it with local files. Great, tried it out. Said just add a sum if formula to add this column. Got the column wrong, but never mind. Then I said would you like me to add a label next to the total? And I went, yeah, sure. So it said, okay, I've done that, but on my screen the total was there, but there was no label. And then I thought, oh, that's weird. Then I saw scroll down a bit in the Copilot chat, and it said, to see this new file, click this button to download the copy. So what, like file A brackets 1, because my file was called file A. What do you mean? So then I downloaded it. So then I got a different copy that I'm now working on. Make another change. It says, well, now file A1 bracket 1. And every time it made a change, I had to download a new copy.
To even see the change.
This is what I've battled with, because I had the same mindset as you, Mark, at the start of the year of like, right, I'm going to triple down on Copilot. Like, this is what people are going to be using because they're going to, because it's in the Microsoft environment. And within 2 weeks, I was like, I'm bashing my head against a wall here. And then Claude just evolved. And I still, to this day, I get Claude doing so much pretty sophisticated stuff. The moment I try and use Copilot, it's rubbish. So annoying. But this isn't my thought. In fact, will I share? I won't fully flesh this thought out because it's not mine. It's from Ian Bennett, who's going to be on the podcast with Multiquad soon. But there's a question that was raised about, like, do Microsoft care if I'm still using Excel, even if it's the Claude add-in? Do they really care? Because we're still using their tool, but it's his thought to share properly.
Yeah, and I would say they do care because they want Copilot usage.
And also your data is part of the tenant, isn't it? If you use Copilot, it sits within the tenant, whereas if you use Claude.
I think that's the big benefit, isn't it? Like the fact that within that Copilot and agent environment, the agents you've got available through the Microsoft kind of suite of tools, you've got the security, the kind of the management of access that you don't necessarily have with Claude, but the Claude and other tools are so much better.
But Laura mentioned, we were discussing this afterwards because we were talking about Llama AI as well, which is it sits on your actual machine. But we were saying that with Claude, because the data, what you're feeding it is what it's using, for everything, which I think all of AI is to a degree. But then, of course, we're going to have advertising coming in soon, so it will be interesting to see how
ChatGPT.
How targeted that's going to be. Because one of my favorite films is Minority Report, where as you walk past, it's all, and I'm a sucker for, try these shoes, they'll make you run faster. I'm like, ooh. So, you know, I've got this ChatGPT that knows pretty much everything about my life, because it all goes in there. Oh, shall I have this for lunch, or shall I have that for lunch, or, you know, or shall I go for this run or that, you know, everything. And so I've given a marketing genius everything to know about me to sell to me.
Yeah, they claim they won't do that, but how trusting are we?
We shall see.
Yeah.
We shall.
What will I be?
So Mark sucked me into a LinkedIn rant because he posted first, so then it popped up on my feed. Thanks, Mark, and I couldn't let it go. So this was the one of the, and Giles has been on it as well, I think. So that's why.
Mark made me break 2 months of this.
So this was one of those posts about how AI is replacing everything any professional in Excel could ever do, sort of thing. So you don't need to pay anybody to do any Excel work anymore, because you can just use 12 prompts that will replace, you know, a McKinsey and a Boston Consulting Group analyst in, you know, and just add the word Excel into the comments and I'll send you my prompts. And it's just like, the only thing that makes my heart sink more than that post are the people posting Excel in the comments to get the sort of, you know, marketing spam from this idiot. Oh, just please, you know.
My comment on that, which was true, was like, I genuinely didn't think LinkedIn could get worse, but the AI evolution has caused a new wave of cesspit digging to new depths of utter rubbish. So thanks for that, Mark.
And again, because I commented on it, I've had 4 more of those posts from different people today.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh. And anybody who I'm linked to, who I see saying Excel, I'm instantly unfollow or remove connection instantly.
That's good. I'm going to start doing that.
Anybody who's first connection with me who says, puts a comment in there. Oh, yes.
You know, the interesting thing about that is when I looked a few days ago at the because I left a comment and then it tells you who else, you know, this person liked your comment. So in your LinkedIn feed it comes up, and I thought I'll just have a look, and I had a look. So the original post had at the time like 12 you know, likes or, you know, response or whatever it is. Mine had like 45. Like so his original thing saying get this thing got 12, and my one going I don't think you know what consultants actually do, gets 45. So there's clearly more people there going, no, we're not accepting this. No.
Rubbish.
But you're feeding the fire by responding.
Yeah, but it feels good.
There. I mean,
I don't respond to anything like that. I don't know, just that I'm like, boring. You're not coming into my bubble. Go away. And then they don't come in.
Did you see my post mocking the comment Excel in the comments where I was like, I've got a thing that I'll share with you, but you've got to comment frangipani, what's a flipper doodle, what's it in the comments, and put 3 emojis of fruits in between every third character. And what happened? Paul Barnhurst and a bunch of other people did it. I was like, you kids.
Yeah.
And they used AI just to rub it in them.
They used AI.
Well, if anybody interested, we'll put a link to that LinkedIn post in the comments. We can go all the way up a rant as well.
You're feeding the fire.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it referenced this quote from the US office, which is like in the last episode, one of the characters says something like, wouldn't it be great to know when you're in the glory days or the best of days? Wouldn't it be great to know that you were in the best of days? Which is a great thought. And equally, as I sit here now, I'm thinking, do you remember when the internet was really good? Do you remember you could go to it and read people's actual opinions, and you could learn and discover stuff? Do you remember those days? And now I'm there thinking, the internet's rubbish, isn't it? It's just filled with. Honestly, we got these smartphones, and you can look up anything. But now you go, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go online that's worth looking anything up anymore. Also, you doubt anything's real. Like every single video I see, if it's anything slightly shocking, I'm like, is that real or is it just AI? I have no idea now. Yeah.
I think I'm in a different world.
I just saw the time. It's 45 minutes. Are we doing like a question? What are we doing?
Well, we've got folks to follow as well.
You know?
We've also got folks to mention, folks to follow. Have people got a few folks to follow? Has anybody got a little recommendation? Let's get the. I've done a new theme tune. I wasn't happy with last week's, so my wife went to see Chicane on the weekend. A bit of a sort of trancey type, sort of old school band from way back when, or DJ guy. Do you know Chicane?
Yes.
So in that sort of honor, this is more trip hop than it is trance, but let's give it a go. Okay, so short and sweet again.
These are the folks you gotta follow. They're sharing stuff you gotta know. We recommend them all day long. That's the end of this intro song.
There we go. And for those of you listening on the podcast, the outro tune will be an extended version. So stay tuned and enjoy.
Nice.
My wife that's playing before this podcast started because I was uploading it, and she just comes in and looks at me and just shakes her head and walks off in despair. She goes, "Is that your nerdy music again?" I went, yeah. So she's right. Folks to follow. Right, I'm going to kick off with Chandeep Chabra.
Yeah.
His content, he's got lots of people in now, or team, or somebody. It's just gone. It's all good though, right? It's actually useful. And the volume of content has just been great. So cool.
Fabulous way of explaining things.
Yeah. And he's a little stickman figure as well, which is a nice little sort of bit of branding. I quite like that. It's quite sort of stands out, catches your eye. So, good. Yeah, well, that's me. Who else?
I've got a selfish one. Can I? This is a biased one. I'm going to call out Faye, who's my travel buddy, Faye Bulbar, who's co-hosting Global XL Summit in a couple of months. But she is and will continue to be posting lots of, I think, very insightful stuff on, partly on Copilot, because she's the person out of everyone that I've spoken to who's seen the most value being taken from Copilot, but more broadly about kind of data literacy and AI as well. So give Faye.
I've got one. So I'm going to say David Hanna. So David Hanna is a MVP data platform, but he's also a consultant. And he is absolutely brilliant at explaining things, and he's very keen to help show about documentation of your data and how to use Git and how to use Visual Studio Code. And he's really, really good. So if you're interested in Power BI and you're interested in documentation and how to make it easy and things like that, then he's worth a follow.
How do you spell his surname?
Hanna.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good. Really, really good.
I'm going to say Damien Bird, who is a Power Automate person. He's a Microsoft business solutions architect or something. He used to be an MVP, and then he worked for Microsoft. So he's worth following on LinkedIn. He also has a community on School, which is I think you might have to ask him for an invite or something else. But if you're a Power Automate person, Power Platform person, if you're interested in building Copilot agents, so the full not the agents built into Copilot, but the Copilot Studio agents and things like that, or that I'm sure he covers general agents. He's a fantastic resource for that. So Damien Bird, and he's also got a YouTube channel that's got lots of stuff on it as well.
So all about agents, how to utilize agents to help you.
How to build agents, ideas of the things you could use agents for. So on his community, I think he only started at the start of this year. There's kind of projects and things that he's working through, and other people are showing you for things that you could build agents for and how that might work. So he's a really, really good person.
Can I just clarify, because to me, agents, I haven't used an agent yet, but an agent is a piece of software that you give information to, and then it helps you perform certain tasks.
Well, okay, so going back to referencing Faye Boardbar, she did a post on LinkedIn a while ago about there's different kinds of agents. There is an agent where, like a ChatGPT agent, where you chat with it and it's already got a pre-made, it's already got the knowledge and the instructions, therefore it should give you more consistent responses. So that's known as an agent, but you've also got an agent that literally does stuff on your behalf.
Oh, here she is. Ah.
They're talking about agents, now they're talking about you talking about agents, and I just thought, do you just want to talk to them about agents?
on the spot.
My question was, hi Faye, my question was, I've not used an agent before. And so I said, to me, are agents something that you give instructions and then they help you perform tasks? And then Mark was referencing your article on LinkedIn where you explain what the different types of agents.
Yeah, so Microsoft have kind of confused things here, because most of the world talks about most of the world talks about agents as though they perform actions for you. So they essentially, with natural language recognition, they take your instructions and then do something. But an AI agent in Microsoft land, there's different types of agents, and they've just called it all agents. So you've got, and I realize I'm saying the word agents over and over, and it's
no, it's good to,
so you've got agents in Copilot 365, which are essentially just a pre-grounded prompt that you can reuse and you can share. And so they're not doing things, they're not automating anything. It's just that you can give it a lot of context up front to be able to help you over and over again. So for example, you could build an agent in Copilot that is also called light agents, and you could feed it your HR policies. And then you could share that with your organization, and you could say to everybody, use this agent if you want to know anything from our HR policies. And so it already has that information grounded in it to be able to answer people quicker. But then,
so it's then there's like also a GPT if you built a custom GPT and ChatGPT.
Exactly. It's the same as a kind of, in ChatGPT, are they called projects?
It's Claude.
That's Claude.
GPTs.
GPTs.
Yeah.
But then you've also got agents in Copilot Studio Full that actually connect to things and help you automate things. And that is kind of a real agent. So that might connect to another system and actually book something in that system relating to maybe a holiday or things like that. There's more agents now that Microsoft are releasing. Actually, in the personal version of Copilot versus the business version, there's more things in there. And it depends what region you're in as well. But in some regions, there are now things like agents that will book things for you online through Microsoft. So you'll search for something and then that agent will actually go and book something, which is an agent in a traditional sense that does an action. So I hope that helped. It is kind of confusing.
So there are light agents and full agents, and the light agents maybe are sort of like have specific guidelines that you want to give answers to. And then a full agent is something that's more task orientated.
Yeah, think of a light agent as just a pre-grounded prompt. Whereas a full agent actually connects to stuff to do stuff on your behalf for you to help you. So, and that's why there's so much confusion with the language of agents, and also the difference between AI and automation, because now there's like so much crossover.
You just want to stick with Faye? She's much more useful. Like just have Faye.
Yeah, actually.
She smiles, Giles. She smiles and is happy
all the time.
It's a bit easier to understand as well.
24/7.
I think there's just a different approach in general, because Faye said there, it does things for you and it helps you. Giles, if it was you, it'd be like, it does stuff for you and it messes things up. Like just the different stroke, the positivity, you know, it's just, you know, it's like chalk and cheese.
Yeah, give her another week.
A very nice blend together.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, there are useful things. Agents can help you. But yeah, there's a lot of hype and a lot of confusion. And that's not helped by Microsoft.
Because there's so many entry points to it, because there's like Copilot Studio, there's Microsoft 365 or Copilot 365, whatever the hell it's been renamed to now. And so, yeah, it's just, everything's just scattergunned everywhere.
And it's how we keep up to date, because we're trying to keep, I mean, Excel's changing at a phenomenal rate. BI is changing at a phenomenal rate. We've got Fabric as well, which is just huge, as well as everything else. And then trying to keep up to speed with AI and agents and Claude and ChatGPT and Llama.
And how do you even budget for any of this stuff? Because like the pricing is so opaque and confusing, and you know, it's almost like the attitude is, oh, you got to give it a go and implement and spend, you know, a week building this and then work out how much it's going to cost you. So,
yeah, there's this thing called pay-as-you-go licensing. I don't know if you talked about that, but a lot of companies don't have it turned on. So when they start doing things in Copilot Studio Full, i.e. building AI agents, in a lot of cases, without pay-as-you-go licensing, where your costs are essentially, in theory, unlimited, you actually can't then use what people are building. So yeah, and also people are spending millions on Copilot licenses with no training plan. People in the business don't even know if they have a license.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know I did an OpenAI session for SQL Bits last year, where I was using tokens to do sentiment analysis on data. Pricey. Very pricey.
The same folks would be looking at a way to avoid paying their, you know, $10 for Power BI license. They'll all be chucking a $30 Copilot license in there without a blink of an eye. You know, it's just.
So I think the light agents, as we're referring to them, they're kind of included within your subscription price, but it's the Copilot Studio that is then plugs into your API and just keeps charging as you go.
And every question.
But
oh, go on.
If you build a light agent that refers to grounding in your work data. So by that I mean, with a Copilot 365 license, you can do prompts that are grounded in your Microsoft Graph, which has data about you in your Microsoft ecosystem. So it's got access to your Teams messages, your emails in Outlook, your files that you can see in OneDrive. That ability you can only have that if you've got a license. So if you share light agents with people who don't have licenses, but the light agents wants to use that grounding, then either it just can't do it, or you get into this pay-as-you-go licensing world where the costs are essentially then unlimited again.
So you have to so if you're in an organization, because I've not explored Copilot licensing, so if you're in an organization, is it the same as BI in that you pay for individuals to have a license to use? You know, does your login, you know, do you assign a license like you do BI or Office or something for Copilot?
Yeah. So you assign a Copilot license. So without a Copilot license, you can still use Copilot, but you can't use work grounding at the moment. Now, this is probably all going to change, even maybe by the time this gets released. Microsoft change it a lot. So at the moment, you can use Copilot without a license, but to get the work grounding, you need a Copilot license. And to be building...
Sorry, Faye, when you say work grounding...
So that's where it can use the data about you from your Microsoft Graph, your Microsoft ecosystem. So that's the emails, the Teams messages, and so on.
Right.
So with a Copilot, then you need another license, I believe, to be developing things in Copilot Studio Full. And then there's another Copilot license for Power BI Copilot. I think you've talked about that before.
It's similar to Pro, isn't it, in Power BI, in that anyone can use Power BI, and so you can use this amazing tool. You can create a solution, and it's when you want to share it with someone is when you have to pay. And so it seems like the Copilot licensing is the same. You can use it, but if you want to share it, then you have to pay.
It's if you want to share it and still give that person the ability to use their work grounding, then they either need to have a license or they need to pay extra for it. Yeah. So some organizations have turned the pay-as-you-go licensing off, which is completely understandable. But it means that when you share a light agent with someone who doesn't have a license, if it's supposed to use that work grounding, it just won't work for them. And as far as I'm aware, it also won't tell them why it doesn't work. It just won't work.
Yeah.
It's so complex, isn't it?
It's really complex, really confusing, and always changing. Like, we were delivering some training at the end of last year, and the day after the training, Microsoft renamed all of their agents to light and full agents.
And then there's different Copilot licenses depending upon which area of the business you're using.
Yeah.
So if you're using BI, you've got a Power BI Copilot license. If you're using Office, there's an Office license. Yeah. Copilot license.
And the compute that, like as Faye said, you've still got some access, like to Excel Copilot, you've still got some access without a Copilot license, but you like have limited access, and it might run out or just stop working and stuff like this. And it's only then if you've got the paid license, like the $30 a month, that you can get unlimited, not really, but unlimited access, and it'll run more and do more stuff for you. So so you think you've got Copilot, but then it's not working as well as somebody else because you haven't got the license and somebody else has. And
and if you don't know what's going to work and what isn't going to work, then that's really difficult to create a solution. Sorry
to get into licensing, but like Power Automate as well.
That just
like, but this is a premium connector, so we need, if you want to connect to SQL or something, and that's premium. And Power Apps is the same. There's always like, you're almost there, but no, you need another license for that. And
it stops me using it, to be honest. Power Apps and Power. I do use Power Apps and Power. I use Power Automate. I don't use Power Apps as much, but the whole licensing is just puts you off.
Stops you.
So Wynne, going back to your example earlier where you talked about Claude Code, and it said, hey, you could combine this in with your Power Automate, and you mentioned about the HTTP, you would need a premium license for that.
Premium license.
Yep.
Which Claude didn't actually mention, but I was aware of it. But it didn't actually flag that. I guess it's sort of licensing is probably beyond the ability of current models at some point in the future. Claude 4.7 will be able to explain Microsoft licensing to us.
It needs some level of coherent knowledge, doesn't it? At least some pattern of training which makes some sense. I'm sure if you went to Copilot, they'd be like, well, 37 different people have said different things, so who knows?
Plus, as they mentioned, it might be right as of the last time it was trained, but things will have changed. So it's almost like it's impossible. So,
how do you stay up to date, Faye?
I try to keep up to date with. There's Microsoft Learn online. I try and keep up to date with that, but the licensing things are changing so fast that whenever I'm training on it, I always say, just look up the latest limits or the latest use cases, because for example, at the start, you couldn't use Copilot in Excel at all without a Copilot license, but now you can use it. You just don't have work grounding, I think. But I'm sure that next week that will change again. So I always just caveat it with, this was up to date at some point, but research the latest one if you need to know.
It's good to understand the concept. Now I know that it's similar to a BI type license. It will give you so much, but the work grounding, even understanding what work grounding means is really helpful.
This is Faye didn't hear it, but I gave you a shout out earlier. I also said you'd post lots of thought leadership, so you need to do that on a regular basis.
And cheat sheets, he said.
Yeah.
Cheat sheet.
I'm struggling to get used to this if you're wearing that King of the Road hat.
So we wish you every luck, Faye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With what? What do you mean, luck? With me?
With your journey together. Exploring Europe.
It'll be a delight from start to finish.
It will be. It'll be lots of fun.
So what I'm going to do is for the podcast listeners, I will have seamlessly put in question of the week and changed it to licensing. What do you know about licensing? And then we can just wrap up now, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So thank you, Giles, for bringing Faye in. That was really
thank you, Faye. Thank you, Giles.
Thank you.
Right, great place to wrap up, folks. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.
Drive safe, clunk click every trip.
Mm.
Okay, folks. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.